Alors, cette troisième session,
This third session concerns megatrends in entrepreneurship, and before that, we are pleased to join us here a social entrepreneur who has been active in this field for a few years, successful through a very successful, impactful social project called Wallah We Can, swearing by Allah we can. Lotfi Hamadi.
bonjour. Bonjour, alors j'ai 10 minutes, je vais essayer d'être...
Good morning. I have 10 minutes. Wallah We Can has been there for the 12 years. It's an association that is working with children, but with an entrepreneurial perspective. We believe that to develop a country, we need to support children, and we have five safe guarantees that we want to give to children: the right to education, the right to entertainment and well-being, the right to physical protection, and the right to protect legal protection. Those things would certainly ensure full integration. This is to see how from school we can have a social enterprise. We identified a college in Siliana. It is one of the colleges, 12 years old, and transform it into a social enterprise. As you see, the state, we have an energy farm and an agricultural farm.
C'est installer des chauffe-eau.
What is an energy farm? That is solar water heating to provide hot water to the children, to the students. The college would produce its own energy, and the excess would be shared by other educational institutions, and then maybe sell it also to repay some of the school expenses. In order to achieve this autonomy, we have been through the agricultural objective. We have identified the parents of the children who are unemployed. And you know that in Tunisia, the question of employment is not simply that people don't find jobs, but unfortunately, some people don't want to work. There's a problem of culture, of motivation, and then we wanted to seek to motivate some of these children who have all the capacity to work. And for a few years, we have struggled with them, against them sometimes, for their interest. Some of these farmers, and then they became farming entrepreneurs. 10 hectares that produce 150 tons of fruit and vegetables. They would be supplied to schools, and the rest is sold in the market. Thanks to these savings on energy bills and on consumption bills and the excess, thanks to agricultural activities, we invest in the rehabilitation of schools. And as you see here, the canteen, the school canteen, the construction of fields, the improving on the electrical installations of these places, often that have been, some of these have been obsolete and are at the origin of overconsumption. So our objective is a national one. Our all solutions should be economic, sustainable, and we started, of course, also by providing heating systems, and we want that the scaling up would consider only these partial things. That is, we're not talking about full success, but at least to provide what is required. That is heating in winter and air conditioning in summer. And this was, of course, carried out at the level of investment in some of the clubs. We see here some of the clubs we have established in these schools: basketball, entrepreneurship, permaculture, robotics, etc. And this we seek that it would have a positive impact on the education of children. We don't have the right to alter or to change anything pedagogical or in the curriculum, so we wanted to take some of the free time of these children and provide them with alternative and supplement that with some other education. Health, we know that there is a problem, for example, for a large number of young girls do not have access to hygienes and hygienic products. And so through this, we actually also launched the production of the washable hygienic panties for young girls, and thanks to these washable ones, for the years, the girls at school have been provided with the hygienic solutions in a sustainable way. This is for the physical and legal protection. We also accompany children and support them, children victims of violence, providing also medical care, but also jurors, because we often also prosecute in courts the perpetrators. And this is a reminder simply that if we have 100,000 children that leave school, it's not because they don't like education, but because they have been subject to, some of them at least, or a good number of them, of violence. And they leave school because those who are supposed to provide them with support are at the origin of unfair treatment. And here we have testimony of this student, Chéma, law student. She talks about how she used to study in this school with all its situations and conditions. We had no heating, we had no decent, we could not use the showers, we could not have any activities, cultural whatever. Our day starts 6 in the morning. We study and we do everything. 9 p.m. we sleep in very bad conditions. And then Wallah Weekend came to our college and dealt. And then some dynamic got into the school. We had architects. We had people who started talking and monitoring the kitchen, and no one asked us for our opinion at the time. Nobody gave us that attention and importance. And so the members of Wallah Weekend, there were people who carried out all the study and the perspectives and the potential. And it was all centered around the student. Then the school was a big work site. Heating, solar panels provided us with electricity for all the college. Sports fields. We had access to more activities. A movie theater opened the way for us, and then a larger room equipped with PCs, which helped us have access to the world. And this motivated us a great deal and actually ended all the leak from schools. It was all based on trust. I'm Chéma, speaking on behalf of Wallah Weekend.
Merci. Pendant 12 ans, nous avons travaillé sur ce collège qui était un laboratoire pour...
This school was our first lab, and now after 12 years of experience, we have now the registration of the model at all the level, administrative, legal, etc., because we know that in such situations we can have all the possibilities. Otherwise, we would not have on board all the people, and we would be doomed to failure. Our objective now is to develop this in Bizerta, thanks to funding of $1 million from the Netherlands. This is what they have done in Bizerta, that is planting trees in the deforested areas, protection of some 200 hectares that would be used for production, including specialist support also to a large number of farming, especially fruit farming, support to some schools, and then especially also support to a large number of people to be involved in the economic and benefit or profit-making activities. So with this funding of the government of the Netherlands, whom we thank, starting this year, we would see the scaling up at the level of Bizerta, and hopefully in 3 years we tell you where we stand. Thank you, Lotfi Hamadi, for everything you are doing. I would like Wallah weekend for those who come from abroad. It's a local idiomatic. I swear by Allah, I can. Believe me, we can with a divine recall here. So it is a form of juxtaposition between. I returned from Canada after the revolution, and there was the Obama campaign at that time of Yes We Can. And it's often, what is known in Tunisia often is that often people tell you, Wallah, I swear by Allah, it's impossible. And I said, Wallah, it's possible.
For the last panel, we will speak of entrepreneurship and megatrends. And today, ESPs are facing difficulties. We mentioned a few of them. But today, with the new tendencies emerging on the market, PEs are also they are also changing. So entrepreneurship and megatrends, we will speak of green economy, orange economy, gray economy, and I think that it is an important question because it addresses the transformation of PES. For this, I am pleased to have with me Mrs. Živa Štiglic. She's here, and she has just had a small accident during her visit to the Medina. She's director of the Slovenian International Department of Employment Services, and I also greet Slovenia. I also invite Mrs. Chéma Gargouri, who is CEO of TAMSS, Tunisian Association for Management and Social Stability. I also invite Mr. Anouar Alaoui, Director of Partnership, Communication and Cooperation, which is a Moroccan agency. And I invite Mr. Razagh, BECHIR, Director of the Skills Development Department, TECHGHIL in Mauritania. I saw him this morning, so be assured he's here. But we will begin by establishing the context. CEO of TAMSS, who asked to be on the podium for a presentation, and then you will have some questions. You have 10 minutes, Chéma. I will speak in English.
Gargouri, I'm founder. I'm the CEO of the Tunisian Association for Management and Social Stability. And in the development world, CEO is no more just Chief Executive Officer, but also it's about Chief Empowering Officer, Chief Engagement Officer, Chief Enabling Officer. It's much more than just executing, it's about also inspiring the teams. So how? Come on. Of course, we are a mission-driven organization. I'm not going to be very long just presenting what we have been doing. And our main focus is really about the economic inclusion of the youth and women, with insisting also on their social participation. We have been running for 18 years, and TAMSS is a social investment. Actually, I come from the international non-government organization. I worked on the international level, and my dream was just to make something happen in my own country. From the international, I came to the national, and it's an investment from a private company into an NGO, and we started with 10,000 Tunisian dinar in 2006. We have, actually our activities are managed by 3 departments. We have the the entrepreneurship and financial inclusion department. We have the women department, where we are having a very good partnership with the government, mainly the Ministry of Women, aimed at really supporting the public services for the women victims of violence. It's something that we are extremely engaged in. And we have the Human Rights and Minority Department, which was established in 2019, and we are the partner in the economic inclusion of the refugees and asylum seekers in Tunisia with UNHCR, which is challenging but extremely interesting as an experience, really trying to also create the micro-enterprises and place the refugees with refugee cards and in a legal way in Tunisia. Of course, when we talk about a non-government organization, when we talk non-profit, we don't have the budget. Our value is not related to the budget, it's related to the people who are working there. And we have 65 permanent staff, 12 consultants. 80% of our team is made up of women. These are people who really represent an expertise, a know-how, and really approaching entrepreneurship and women empowerment and minorities inclusion in this country. And it is young, and I'm gonna insist on the youth because everything is changing so fast. For an NGO to be able to follow the beneficiaries of today, mainly among youth, mainly among young entrepreneurs, and we will see the different profiles today, we have to have this young generation. We cover all Tunisia, but we don't have offices in Tunisia. We only have 3 offices, and we partner with the private sector in the entrepreneurial, when we deal with entrepreneurship, with the local government organizations. So we are partnering with the government as well. We partner with the grassroots organization who know better than us their regions. When we say we partner, it's on the design level of the programs, on the implementation level of the programs, on the evaluation, and at the end of the cycle of any program. We try to really build a partnership consortium level because there are issues that we cannot solve on our own, and it is not a one-man or one-woman show. Of course, I have to talk about results, but we do have stories, and Wallah, we can. I love the slogan, if it is called slogan, but because Wallah we can, and I congratulate him for for his project. But we do have other younger and young people who are so engaged in this type of initiatives in terms of social entrepreneurship. Here, I'm gonna just insist, I'm not gonna talk about everything we've been doing because these figures are related to the numbers. But the 7,000 future and established entrepreneurs, these have been changing. I mean, when we developed the NGO or launched the NGO in 2006, we were talking about micro enterprises. Then we moved to rural enterprises. Then we were talking about women entrepreneurship, then about social enterprise, and then about technology. It's going extremely fast. We cannot keep, I mean, things really are changing, and we cannot master unless the process, unless we follow, and we try to really follow the ambitions and the dreams of this younger generation. And fortunately, and I'm going to say fortunately, we are all concerned. It doesn't mean that it's Tunisia or Morocco or every country in this world is concerned about the issues, and we will talk about. It's global issues, but they are extremely localized in terms of solutions. And our job is to localize the solution for the global also challenges as we'll see it. So what are we talking about today? I think I want to share with you a thought. It's not a lecture. We are witnessing not a change in value, but different definitions of the value of entrepreneurship or any business. We talk about market value. It's about money. It's the businesses where you invest to make money, as simple as that. We're talking, we are talking about value proposition, which means what do you propose to your client in addition to a product or a service? You make him or her feel better. You are giving him an advantage physically or mentally. What is the value of your service comparing to your competitors? Why would I buy a service from you? What is this value added? Which is not just, what doesn't mean that it is same as the value of the money.
2 minutes are left, Shams.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I have to apologize, just add 2 more minutes, if you don't mind.
Okay. No, it's
Okay.
10 minutes, so 2 minutes. You finish in 2 minutes, please.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay. And now we are talking about the sustainable business value, which is connected to environment, to economic value, and many other values. So I have to be extremely fast. And when we talk about sustainable business, we are talking the sustainable development goals. And it's amazing how now the world of the business now is connected to the sustainable development goals and to environment and because it's the responsibility of everybody. We used to have traditional investors, so when we talk about social entrepreneurship, impact entrepreneurship, who invest in the value equal benefit minus cost. Today we are talking more about impact investment, and it's about environmental, social benefits as well as profits. And everybody is concerned, and this is the new business models for all the businesses. This is the variety of all types of the businesses, and we have to be able to create the environment so the non-profits, the social enterprises, the traditional businesses can all solve together. I mean, they all need to exist. It's not just profit-driven, it's not just ethical business or just impact entrepreneurship, it's everything connected together. We need all these types, but we are so happy to have this type of business coming into the market today. I will not explain all this, but we are talking about market value and we are talking about the approach to impact. And enterprises and the business world are thinking about the approach to impact, and they are put in their business models as indicators. And this is good news. I think this is an opportunity, but it is difficult to really put in place and this is, well, I have to be very fast. These are examples of new impact funds just in Europe. And I'm sure there are others in the world. And this is the tendency, but we have to create the ecosystem so we will make our social entrepreneurship and impact entrepreneurship work for us as governments. To follow this path, we have invented or named we are devoting part of our budget to what we call the grants for impact. Yes, last year we have devoted about 1.16 million Tunisian dinars directly invested in the impact entrepreneurs. And thanks to our donors, I have to say, to GIZ, to La France, and we have all the funding organizations, but devoting part of the grant to the enterprises is extremely important. This year, we have already confirmed about $500,000 that will be invested in either creating or expanding the businesses. We are still waiting for an approval of the 210. We will hope to get it. Then if it happens, we will have 2.264 million invested in the private enterprises. So it's reality, and we want to keep this grants for impact. It's not a lost grant. It's a grant that is invested in entrepreneurs who are creating wealth and jobs. So nothing is lost. Still, we have to be romantic about what we are doing. Our results are still and will always be, because it's a commitment, it's a moral and professional commitment to support success. Our young people have to be able to dream and realize their dreams and serve the country. That's why we are here. And so we love what we do, and we do it very well, I think. And that's it, and thank you very much for listening, and I hope I respected the timing.
Thank you. Merci.
Thank you. Very interesting presentation. I would like perhaps ask you a question concerning the impact. Yeah, please be seated. So you coach companies which try to have sustainability in their process, and today the whole question is to know whether we can conciliate sustainability and profitability. Often investors say if we are sustainable, I would not be profitable, and the other way around. So presently, are we within a new paradigm where we try to bring the two concepts together and both not being paradoxical? Well, you have answered the question, because this is a new model that we are inventing to be profitable, but to make sure there is an impact. There is no clear answer. Each company tries its mission. Even the companies take endorse missions. NGOs should also wonder, because we speak of our sustainability. The composition is complex, but at some point, the ecosystem must be supportive for sustainability, for profitability and impact, through laws, through regulation, openings, markets. Even Wallah, we can. I wanted to have an idea on their economic model, but economic models now are being created, and this is a challenge. We can thank Chéma. We can thank Chéma. Mr. Anouar Alaoui, you are Director of Partnership and Communication and Cooperation at ANAPEC, Moroccan PES. So you have a presentation, but or you can make your presentation and then I ask the question. It is in connection with what Chéma was saying. What about human resources? If we have an investment in impact, we need to find human resources likely to feed these investments. We speak of orange economy, green economy, gray economy. We will come back to this. It's important to speak of the senior category and the employability of seniors and the change in their specialty. So would you like to answer the question first or the presentation? So both together. Well, highly pleased to be again in Tunisia, a country I like very much, and thank you for the quality of the organization and the moderation. It is a real pleasure. In fact, I will be brief in my presentation, and in my presentation there are elements answering your question. Generally, I am uncomfortable with presentations, but this time I would like to share it, especially that it is relevant. When we speak of green economy, etc., or silver economy. Generally, these economies are quite promising, with expected growth in sectors of green economy, like renewable energy, energy efficiency, sustainable management of resources, not only natural resources, but also human resources and technological resources. It's the valorization of waste, circular economy. So these changes and the paradigms experienced by the world stimulated this kind of topic and led to innovation and also investment in solutions which respect the environment and take into consideration all the dimension and the HR dimension of the country. And I will be speaking of Morocco. When we speak of silver economy, it refers to the economic activities related to the aging of the population, demographic aging in many countries, as we are witnessing. So we, in Arab countries, we are not suffering yet of this problem, but we start having, because the demographic conditions have changed, and in Morocco, a major question concerning families, which in the past used to have 10 or 8 or 9 children, and today the challenge is 2. Not because they are not willing, but it's because all the social conditions have changed, and therefore we begin reflecting on the fate of children, social life, lodging, and it is the same thing in Tunisia and elsewhere in the Arab world. So it is a real subject issue. It is the aging of the population. Demographic aging in all these countries led to opportunities in sectors like health sector in Morocco, which is emerging. It is care to the elderly. And we know today difficulties for families in charge of the elderly, whether they can be active in the employment market, and what about the elderly people at home who will be in charge. And these specific aspects are now emerging, so it is a real need which is being felt. And what is important is that we can support this need. In Morocco, we are exporting skilled labor in this sector abroad, but we are suffering from this ourselves. So it is a whole thinking, and I'm speaking of the adaptability of human resources to face this need, which is national, before we go to the international. So it is all the processes of improving employability, reconversion, initial training to meet the needs, these needs, urgent needs. There is also reference to technologies which are adapted to the senior population. And so what we did not know in the past, and therefore now we must diagnose, develop, put in place solutions which will meet these needs, and that we adopt something sustainable which does not only think of the next 10 years, but think in terms of coming generations. So this economy, silver economy. It is an emerging economy, and it presents many opportunities, hence the need, well, at least among our public services of employment, among our services, to adapt to such change. Mr. Anouar, is there no difference between a senior or someone who is before retirement in this field? Because in Tunisia, we have such discussion when we try to say we will try to postpone retirement age, because life expectancy now in Tunisia is around 78 for women and 74, 76 for men, if my figures are correct. So we are not in this rationale first to finance the question of national security funds. To make employability in the silver, is it not a problem for the generations waiting to be hired? And now we have this high rate of unemployment in Tunisia. It is 16.2%, if I'm accurate, and we have a problem with university graduates, around 70,000 graduates who are unemployed. And there is this issue. Yes, it is shared first. It is a fact which is shared, and I think that my brother from Mauritania will speak about this too. It is shared, and it is a paradigm. It is also a paradox, because when we speak of unemployment, young people's unemployment, it is a fact. It is a service, well-defined service, but when we speak of unemployment of the undergraduates, or we speak of the senior population, it's another element, another aspect, and another way of doing. So PES, that's why they are there, to think of services to put in place for the newly arrived, like complementary training or soft skills or required needs now in the employment market, where hiring is for technology and other services, and also find solutions for the unemployed graduates who are around for some time and they need to act on their skills and on their academic learnings. So we are speaking more of reconversion and of training, specific training, preparing someone with a degree in philosophy to become a decoder, etc. So it's a public employment service that we focus on, and all incentives of employment managed by the different public employment services meet this double need. For the question of retirement fund, and this is a phenomenon not specific to our region, but also shared in other regions and other countries in Europe, and they go all the way to 65 or 67 years of age. So there is a need for structural reform in our perception of managing these components of retirement, etc. And then we need to have a debate on the people who reach retirement and they can still be active, and this is where the countries can take advantage of the senior level of these people to establish programs of mentoring and tutorship in order to accompany these people. And another question which seems to me also important and relevant relevant to our discussion You yourself are Moroccan. What about the solidarity economy? It is an important phenomenon, and Morocco was pioneer in this. In 2010, I was in Marrakesh, and we went in the Ourika Valley, and we visited an argan oil cooperative, and we wondered about this. We started this since 2014. We adopted a law in 2020, but the solidarity economy is not playing its role fully. Can you tell us more about the importance of this social economy with regards GDP, social and financial inclusion, and even this global inclusion of the populations concerned with this old new model, economic model? So in Morocco, social and solidarity economy is a development lever, and with the support of His Highness the King, we even have a program of human development using social and solidarity economy. So we were really surprised with the potential on the social and solidarity economy. We heard about this in Latin America, also Spain, France, and Germany also. So these economies are oriented towards common goods. So they try to be more inclusive. For example, in Morocco, we have the cooperatives in Ourika, and there was the emancipation of women who created great things in the 1980s. They were under the control of the consumption of large companies, and they were unknown. But when we offered them the opportunity of emancipating themselves and organizing into service cooperatives, we saw that the potential was huge. It is a solution to fight unemployment, and it is a factor of inclusion. So not only women, but the disabled and people who are far from the employment market. So we, in Morocco, it is a development lever of economic development and wealth creation. So I let you conclude to give the floor to Mr. BECHIR. Well, I spoke of independent, supportive economy. We talked about, I also wanted to speak of motivation in eco-innovation. What are the motivations of the self-entrepreneurs who are often anchored in the desire of conciliating between economic activities and those which meet the requirements of sustainable development? So I share this slide to say that the approach is very particular, requiring support. So how to support these entrepreneurs who are eco-innovating, and it is difficult to be innovating and environment friendly. So we need to facilitate profitability, and these are projects which must be encouraged. We must develop sustainable solutions, and especially a need for training and coaching. And therefore, all the programs, training programs which are established must be customized in a way that they meet the need of this factor and not use standards. And finally, we need to have tax support So when we speak of eco-development, we need to spare them all the tax fees and use incentives, and we put in place a few experiences in Morocco like those who are in renewable energies. They don't pay the same taxes as those who are in carbon energy. So these are things to put in place to allow these eco-innovating entrepreneurs to focus on research and development, on innovation, and to have less on the other sectors. Thank you, Mr. Anouar.
Thank you for all this information, valuable information. I move on now. Mr. Aoud Razagh BECHIR, Director of the Skills Development and Employment Department in Mauritania. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for joining us. If we talk about megatrends and entrepreneurship, how is Mauritania changing according to these trends? What programs or the public employment services are adopting and implementing in this respect? Thank you. Allow me to speak in Arabic. In the name of Allah, good morning, everyone. Peace to Tunisia. Peace to the Tunisian people and peace to the Tunisian beauty. I believe that when a beauty was created, it was created Tunisian. The facilitator says, I'll give you 5 more minutes for that. And that Tunisia simply distributed beauty to the world, but was unfair. It took the majority and left just a little to the rest of the world. I believe that you have really created a big problem for Tunisian men, because every time now we'll say, remember what Mr. BECHIR said about Tunisian women. So thank you on behalf of the general management of the Agency for Employment and Skills Development. We thank ANIT for the invitation to this important event. We thank equally all the ANIT teams for the hospitality and for the since our arrival to Tunisia. Even if I have 5 minutes, I will go right away to my presentation in order not to lose much time. As you have mentioned, entrepreneurship, when we talk about public employment systems, we talk about salaried employment and self-employment. However, when we look at wage employment, it is companies, it is businesses, and so we know that without the development of this fabric, the business that would generate employment and niches, we cannot progress in this respect. We cannot make available to the future generations jobs, because we know that this is the answer to the question of our dear moderator. At the level of the agency, we stress particularly self-employment and especially entrepreneurship among young men and among women. I am pleased to have been invited to introduce the project of the Agricultural Incubator in Mauritania. You have the Mauritanian map. It is huge with great potential. And there you see the network of our agencies. Now the National Employment Agency covers all the national territories, all the wilayas of the country. We were created in 2005, and recently in 2021 we had the first restructuring, which allowed us to develop our training system and the extension of networks. Now we have 21 agencies, 5 of which are connected, and then redynamism of services through new programs. It is in this context that we have what we call the wind, that is the shifts, and was a green shift at 3 levels. The first one has to do with the human resources. We started training all our consultants in terms of circular and green economy, and we even have now trainers who are now specialized in green enterprising and circular enterprising. Then the second axle is communication. We started working on communication targeting the target population, that is businesses and else. And then the third one, it is our programs. We are trying to, let's say, ecologize the work. Like all other agencies, we have employment programs, and we have reintegration placement programs, capacity building, and we try to provide an eco label for all the programs. And it is in this context that we started the process of the agricultural incubator. So the incubator, very briefly, it is an innovation aspect to create a new dynamic at the agricultural sector through the following aspects. First, developing agricultural entrepreneurship in Mauritania. We have great potential in this respect. But until now, most of our consumption comes from neighboring countries, especially from Morocco. And so we try as much as possible to develop this sector, which has great potential, especially in terms of employment. The conservation of the environment and the management of resources, we need to consider that. That is the trend now. It is resources management, no wasting, especially that we are in a dry region and we have agricultural potential all along the Senegal River. These are resources that we need to protect and manage well. Making available hosting and support for maturity, for maturing projects. We have young people who are bearers of important and promising projects but do not find monitoring and support. And so that's why we need to consider this and try to provide them with the necessary report. And then reducing or mitigating all forms of risks, especially exposing newly established companies. What are the services offered by the incubator? The first one, it is incubation. We have the pre-incubation period. We have the phase dedicated to the developing the idea of the business. Then we have the second one, the incubation per se, that is physical hosting of the business. And then within the service, we have also a sub-service for the post-incubation period, there is monitoring and support and everything related to assistance. The second service we will offer to project bearers, it is training. Training and entrepreneurship, marketing, technical, soft skills, etc. All forms of services that can boost the business and help the entrepreneur to launch their own business and ensure its sustainability. And then there is also a space that there is a co-working space in the center to provide the incubators with a venue for exchange of ideas, of opinions, etc. And the fourth service in this respect is networking. That is organizing sessions, conferences, networking events. What economic model? Currently, we have 3 economic models that we have highlighted. The first one is to offer free of charge services. The second one, that is to contribute to the capital of startups, and then to pay for support services. But what we want to do is actually go gradually. That is short term, medium term, and long term. Now services, free services provided now, but in the long term, part of the services would be free of charge and others would be fee paying. So that is when we host a company at the level of the incubator, we give them also a piece of land for the cultivation and for the rest of activities. Because at the level of the incubator, we still have also a market space to allow for the marketing of goods. And in the long term, it is our wish that this incubator also would reach economic or financial autonomy. That is, there should be some funding. What form of governance? We will have a committee of managers in charge of all the strategic choices of and then an executive committee in charge of the implementation of the activities, and the steering committee that would provide the required consultancy, and then a scientific would be a group of wise people or savants and in the field. That is the committee that would provide all the support to these bodies. To close, what are the phases that have been accomplished? We carried out the study, and the study was carried out by a Tunisian consultant, whom we thank very much. It was an excellent study, and there was the launching pad of all this work with our partners. And the second phase, it is the training of the incubators team. There is already a study, a field trip that was carried out also thanks to collaboration with the ANAPEC to Morocco. There's also a study trip planned for the Benin. I don't know if you know Songhai. It is the biggest agricultural open incubator, and it is in Porto Novo in the Benin. I'm not advertising here, but I think I visited the place, and they're doing great work. We have the acquisition of the landlord. We have 4 hectares for the project, and now we have started the management works because we will have constructions, and then we have the management of agricultural land. Mobilization of funding. The incubator is carried out with 2 partners. Our funder is the African Development Bank, and our technical partner is the FAO. And to start with the exercise, with the procedure, we had the first cohort of 30 people. They are young men and women whom we have trained. And we started to host at the level of the incubator. We thought that it should be played. We, of course, hosted them at the level of our regional agency. So these are the steps already accomplished. We are with our partners, the African Development Bank and the FAO. And thank you very much for your attention. And I hope that one day I see some of you visiting us, visiting this project. Thank you, Mr. Aoud Abdelrazak al-Bashir, for this return on experience in Mauritania. We will give the floor to Madame Štiglic. I am pleased to receive today Madame Živa Štiglic, who is senior expert at the International Agency for Employment Slovenia. Thank you for being with us. Prompt recovery after this flu. the presentation. We will have the presentation, then we will ask a few questions. 10 minutes.
Okay. I thought you had the translation kit. So we'll begin with the presentation, and then I'm trying to ask you some questions. So there, 8 minutes, and then 2 minutes for the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On behalf of Employment Service of Slovenia and on my behalf, thank you, organizers, for organizing this very meaningful event. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to present this good practice of ours. And also thank you for organizing it in such a beautiful, historic city. Yesterday in the Medina, I was so excited I fell and I sprained my ankle. So maybe next time you can organize it somewhere less beautiful and exciting for the sake of my ankles. Just a joke, yeah. Yeah, the last presentation before lunch, I will keep that in mind. I will be quick. So before I start, just a fact about Slovenia. We are a very small country. We have a population of 2 million people. You can see maybe we have a country that is in shape of a chicken. And it's the only country in the world that has the word love in its name. So a little bit about Slovenia, yes. And now about the project that I'm going to present. BDC Campus is a project, a program for fostering and encouraging entrepreneurship. It's actually a result of collaboration between the economic sector, the academic sector, and the public employment service that is actually aimed at enabling the development of the entrepreneurial competencies of participants in an innovative way. So you see, we have a result of collaboration. It's the collaboration between business, academic, and public employment service. On behalf of business, we have a company, BTC, that has been in the market for more than 70 years. And with its business ecosystem, it offers a natural environment for the development and further growth of the competencies of the participants. Second part of this triangle is the academic sector, which is actually in charge of implementing the program, because BTC, the business part, is the financer and also the one that was first in charge of the idea and why it has all begun. Then the academic sector is in charge of implementing this project, and this is Faculty of Economics in the University of Ljubljana, and they provide the lecturers, the mentors that have significant business experience. And then last but not least, it's us, it's the Employment Service of Slovenia. We are in charge for the selection of candidates. From our registered unemployed persons, we select the ones that would benefit the most from this specific additional knowledge, from this specific development of business and entrepreneurial skills for their further development of career or for their entrepreneurial path. Actually, this program is designed for unemployed persons that are actively seeking the best opportunities to re-enter the labor market, especially, of course, as I already mentioned, by gaining entrepreneurial competencies and personal skill development. Initially, it was focused only on young individuals. But since 2023, we have expanded the program so that now also other generations can apply. And actually, this has been recognized as a very good practice to be continued in the future, because also the participants said that the intragenerational exchange of ideas has been a great gain for everyone in this program. So, as I already said, the whole purpose, the main purpose of the program is to introduce participants to entrepreneurial thinking, to teach them the modern methods of innovation in business, to help them gain practical knowledge by using creativity tools. Why is it innovative? This program is based on the design thinking methodology. I think it was already mentioned here yesterday. It's a methodology that has been developed by Stanford University and is trying to put a lot of emphasis on creativity in business. So with this methodology, the participants are using it in their real-life cases, which allows for a swift transfer of this knowledge into practice. Moreover, this program is enhanced with a hackathon where the participants are specifically and intensively developing specific solutions for specific user experiences. They also have an opportunity to work on individual cases, and they have an opportunity to work individually. They have an opportunity for individual counseling with the advisors, and these lectures are actually sometimes also joined by renowned managers from the local environment, so they can really get a really good support, insight, feedback from these lecturers and managers for their real-life business case and also for their job search. The program also consists some broader exercises, not only specifically business, that the participants will use in their business path, such as goal setting, time management, assertive communication, things that we all need, especially in business. And last but not least, a very valuable part of this program is also feedback from participants, peer-to-peer, because the participants, they give their opinion, their support, their feedback, and also what we have seen a lot of times in this program is that the participants have sometimes joined and created businesses together. So I think this really makes it a full circle, like really valuable lessons, business counseling, peer-to-peer support, and this is why this program has been so successful. How much time do I have?
3 minutes left.
Oh, perfect. Instead of reading this program objectives, I'm going to read you a testimony because I think, testimony from the participant, because I think it says it better than what I could read from the slide. So a participant said, oh, wrong paper. Looking back at BDC campus, I can highlight the development of my entrepreneurial competences as the added value of the event. I gained insight into innovative approaches to solving personal, social, and business problems, recognizing opportunities and creatively addressing market-successful solutions. Through practical examples, I developed an entrepreneurial mindset, an understanding of entrepreneurship, and an attitude toward being entrepreneurial. Deepening my understanding of entrepreneurship helped me identify a key competence I need to develop on my own: entrepreneurial thinking and how to solve problems in critical situations in line with my values. Striking a balance between the demands of the business world and socio-ethical principles is a lifelong process. With BDC Campus, I further confirmed that I don't need to respond to challenges of the business world with fear of ruthlessness, but with competencies that manifest as virtues. This gives me the ability to solve the most challenging professional and scientific problems in an interdisciplinary environment in which I am involved. Thanks to the Employment Service of the Republic of Slovenia for recognizing the potential in me and proposing me as a suitable candidate for this event. This is a real-life testimonial from participant Valeria, and just to add it, my colleague there, you can wave for us, Anita, she has been with the project since the start, so if you have any concrete questions, she's the one. You can also ask me because I can't go anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Živa Štiglic. Alors, nous recevons Monsieur le secrétaire d'État Monsieur Riyad Chaoud, secrétaire d'État des sociétés communautaires auprès du ministère de l'Emploi et de la formation professionnelle, qui vient d'arriver.
Who has just arrived?
Alors, Monsieur le secrétaire d'État va assister avec nous
Secretary of State will be with us until the end, and then we'll do the closing of this forum. So we will open the Q&A session with the room, with the floor. So I will take 2 questions. Are there questions to ask to our panelists? Promising that on orange economy you will later have 2 presentations about this orange economy. No questions. It seems that everything was very clear, so we thank Mrs. Chéma Gargouri. We also thank Mrs. Živa Štiglic, Mr. Anouar Alaoui, and Mr. Aoud BECHIR